So X-Men Apocalypse, 16 years they've been doing the X-Men movies. A lot of people think that they rushed into the Apocalypse storyline. Apocalypse is one of the best villains in the Marvel Universe. He's the telekinesis, telepath, big motherfucker. He's like Thanos for the X-Men.
I mean, it took him 16 years. How's that rushed?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, now this movie it had a lot of similarity. What'd you think of the movie?
I thought it was okay. I mean, was it the best X-Men? No, but...
Was it the worst?
No.
See, I thought a lot of people got on me for saying this. A lot of people, as in my imaginary friends, that I thought this was worse than X-Men Last Stand. So I did think this was the worst X-Men movie.
Yeah.
But the thing is that none of them are, like, horrible. You know, it wasn't a horrible movie. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't even bad. It's mediocre, I think. Just too many characters. It was a juggling act, and they were trying to introduce the new X-Men. Here's young Jean Grey, Cyclops, Storm. Also, here's the villain, and here's what Magneto's doing. He's living the normal life now. Professor X, he's back to being the Patrick Stewart Professor X. It was just too much. It was too muddled.
So you would rather have like a setup movie with all the new young characters first, and then go into Apocalypse?
Yeah, I think, or they could have done, that, but also keep it the same movie, but do 2 parts, where you split it up. Do Apocalypse Part 1, Apocalypse Part 2, kind of like what the Avengers are doing for Infinity War.
Yeah.
Because the Avengers, they realize that they can't do Thanos in one movie.
That's X-Men's, like, that franchise, that's their Infinity War, basically. That's their big villain, big battle, you know?
Yeah, it really is their Infinity War. That's why I was so excited for this movie. I'm like, we're going to get the culmination of all the X-Men movies in 2016. Meanwhile, we have to wait for Justice League, Avengers 3. And it's like, oh, we're getting X-Men this year. It's going to be awesome. And they were just too in over their heads.
Is that the last movie? Well, obviously not.
Well, you saw the way that it ended, where it's like, okay, here's all the new X-Men. They were doing that training montage.
Yeah, but I mean, what else is, as far as... I still get confused, whereas, like...
The new timeline?
Yeah, I know this is the set timeline, right? Are they going to continue with this, or are they going to...
This is... Apparently, X-Men 1, 2, and 3 don't even exist.
Yeah.
Where it's like, they kind of happen, but there can be some changes. Because Nightcrawler is now part of the X-Men as a child in this timeline. Before, he only showed up in X2, and he wasn't part of the X-Men. But apparently, it looks like they're going forward with these movies. I mean, these guys are young. You know,
Oh yeah, I mean that's what I thought. I mean, they're just gonna keep going and just keep going, dishing them out. So
well, now Apocalypse he's dead, so it's like they can't even use him again. They killed off their best villain.
Yeah.
And the way they killed him off, it was very reminiscent of Ultron. It's just like, oh, let's all just blast him with our powers. Now, this movie, I thought the Magneto parts were amazing. It shows that Magneto is just a character. He's trying to live this normal life, and what happens? He gets fucking ratted out by the police, and they end up killing his wife and daughter. It's like, this guy can't fucking catch a break.
No, that wasn't cool.
That was one of the saddest scenes in X-Men. And then he fucking takes the little necklace and he fucking kills all the policemen in that one shot. That was cool.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool scene.
What'd you think about the action?
It was alright. It wasn't that great. I mean, it was very...
We've seen it all before.
Yeah, it was nothing new. Like, every time I see a Avengers movie, there's always like a new action sequence that's fucking... better than the great action sequence of the last movie, you know?
Civil War?
Like Winter Soldier had great action, but
right.
Civil War was a lot...
It's like Winter Soldier on steroids.
Yeah, it was just so much better. So, I mean, it was nothing where I saw that was like, whoa, that's crazy. I've never seen something like that before on screen.
And what was with the climactic battle, where it's like they're fighting Apocalypse through the mind, and then he's just like, Jean, help me. And Jean Grey just walks in slow motion and kills Apocalypse. It's like, that's the final scene. Jean Grey walking in slow motion.
People are comparing it to Batman, Superman, but I felt like the final Batman-Superman fight was...
very good.
Yeah, very well done.
I think the biggest problem with Batman, Superman is that it took 2 hours to get to the good stuff. I thought this was better than Batman, Superman, but which one would I rather watch? Definitely Batman, Superman.
I enjoyed Batman vs. Superman better.
Yeah, because this movie was more coherent, but Batman Superman was just... The last 30 minutes are so fun.
Yeah.
Like, the first 2 hours are so stupid, but once you get to that final scene and you get to see all the great iconic characters... With X-Men Apocalypse, we've seen this before. I thought the best action sequence was when, you know the scene when Psylocke is falling out of the air? and she jams her sword into the side of the building.
Yeah.
And she like stops her fall. Like if that's your best action sequence, you've got a problem here.
I've seen that in multiple movies.
Yeah, and that was the best one in this one. It's just like it was it was boring. You know, it was boring.
I figured like Days of Future Past was so good. I feel like, oh, now they have Apocalypse. How are they gonna like? How can this possibly be bad?
Yeah, it's like how could they mess this up? But now looking in hindsight, it should have been 2 movies.
Yeah, could have spread it out a little. I mean, it hurts. Dragging a story hurts just as much as compacting one.
Oh, 100%. That's a great line. Did you just make that up?
Yeah.
Did you have that prepared for this review?
I'm sure someone has said it before, but I never heard it.
Sure.
So
Okay.
I made it up.
What'd you think about Apocalypse? Like how he was, how he developed his design.
It was. I mean, he didn't really. I don't know. He wasn't really like a great villain. Like he was just there, you know. Like this guy's just gonna come and destroy the world. That's really really all he had.
Did you even see this movie?
No, I didn't. I didn't see the movie at all.